Good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm a little bit late. My fault. My fault entirely. Hope you're all well. It's nice to be back. Nice to be back. This week's been a bit weird so far. It really has, but that's okay. I kind of knew going into it this week would be a little bit different than usual. All my schedule is all over the place this week. But we're here now, that's the main thing. Felix! Hello again. How are you? Chili cheese sandwich. You know, I've never had one of those. Never had one of those. Right, let's sort my camera out. We've got GSX is a bit of a change for tonight, so I'm quite looking forward to trying that. I literally downloaded it and I haven't used it, so I'm using it for the first time in front of you all, so it might all go really, really wrong. So there is that. There is that. So, I feel out of practice. I feel like I haven't streamed in days. But what do I do? How do I do it? Let's jump up top. So I've done batteries, I've done external power. APU master. So we're in the big bus today. The old A330-900neo from Headwind. Absolutely love that this plane exists. Basically like an A330 version of an A320nx. Once put chili on a piece of bread with cheese and microwaved it when I was 12. It's not tasteful. Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably be inclined to agree with you there, Felix. Still, you tried. Yeah, that's the main thing. You got to try these things in life. Alright, so we're just waiting for this one to come to life. Let's get our navs on. 1, 2, 3. Arm the emergency lights. No smoking lights we'll put to on, because it is not 1992. Nav and logo on. Let's get some oxygen crew supply. And let's do our fuel pumps. We are already fueled. I did the fueling prior to going live just because GSX was kind of yelling at me to do it. Can't wait for the freeware A350, but its age is out. Yeah, who's making that again? I don't feel like I'm as familiar with that as I should be. Still, we'll have the 777 PMDG before not too long, especially if their blog post is to be believed as well. I think they were saying they thought they maybe could have said something about the 777 at Flight Sim Expo, but they didn't. But they've had really, really good progress on it quite recently. So that's really cool. That is very cool. And then I guess once all the 777s are out, we will... Let's get the APU bleed on. We'll then be looking towards 747 from PMDG. And I know we're all like talking about the AAU2 update, but I think for a lot of us, as soon as that's out, we won't be talking about that AAU2 update again. It'll be PMDG or go home. Right, let's get all these screens brightened up. Badger, good evening, how are you? Nice to see you again. I don't know, looking at PMDG's latest postings about it in their forums, I don't know, it would suggest they're closer than maybe we thought. I don't disagree though, it's probably a way out yet. Okay, let's have a look at the plan here. So we're going direct, so basically straight out of runway 25 right. local pressure here is 1014. So not too far off of standard, really. Let's jump into here. Let's brighten this up for a start. Let's go into the ATSU menu. AOC. Let's put the nav to quick. I don't know if that's going to affect it now. It probably won't, because I've already kind of started. Do I fly VATSIM? No, Felix, I don't, but I'm trying to learn off stream at the moment. Yeah, Mackham, good evening. How are you, my friend? You alright? Yeah, VATSIM's on the list for sure, Felix. It feels quite intimidating, especially as I've just completely ignored its existence for about a year, mostly out of fear, to be honest. Just like, it's easier just to fly on my own and not have to worry about it, but I feel like I kind of owe it to the channel at this point to kind of roll up my sleeves and get involved with that. I mean, there are points during the flight where I start to, if it's a longer flight, you kind of start to, not nod off, but, you know, a little bit of pilot boredom creeps in. And I kind of think I'm at that point now where VATSIM could potentially fill that gap, keep me on my toes a little bit more, make it a bit more entertaining for you all, hopefully. I know I've always said that this channel is very much about me kind of learning in public, but I've stayed off VATSIM on the channel just because, like I said at the moment, I'm still very much in like early learning phase of it at the moment, and I don't really want to try and focus on VATSIM and the stream at the same time, because I feel like I would be letting the stream down, and at the same time I'd also potentially be annoying people on VATSIM by being distracted, not fully focusing, making mistakes. That being said, I think my experience so far of the controllers, it's been top notch. It really has. Been doing a lot of the observer mode flights, kind of flying along, picking a buddy at the gate and then following them out. And yeah, there was a couple of times actually on my first time I ever did it. I did Gatwick to, where was it? Gatwick to Cologne, I think it was. And there were a couple of points when the person I was following, especially when we were taxiing in Gatwick, there was a couple of points where they went the wrong way, or I thought they went the wrong way, but then doubt crept in, and I was like, oh yeah, but that's probably me making the mistake, because I'm the inexperienced one here. But sure enough, they did make the mistake, so A, I was glad that I saw it and picked up on it, and then B, once you heard like air traffic talking to them, confirming it, it's kind of like, oh okay, so maybe I shouldn't be so worried after all. Have a bit of faith in yourself, basically, I think is the lesson there. Edinburgh's supposed to be a pretty good place to start, I think, in the UK at least. And I can see why. You know, it's one of those airports that's big enough but not too big. I forget who I was watching, but they recommended an Edinburgh to Heathrow flight for almost like your first flight on VATSIM, which surprised me because I thought, oh wow, Heathrow. You don't want to be going near Heathrow like when you're new, but I guess if you're flying into it, it's maybe a different experience than flying out of it. I don't know. Or maybe it's just not as bad as it is in my head. So there's always that. Matthew, good evening. Good evening, good evening. So we've got GSX tonight, actually. I haven't really mentioned that yet. And I'm not entirely sure what to do with it. I set it downloading, was it last night? Or the night before? Anyway, whenever it was. I set it downloading and it took forever. Like, so long. I mean, my internet's not the greatest here compared to, like, you know, like people that live in cities, what they can get. But it's pretty good. And it just took so long. I think they must be getting throttled or something by wherever they're hosting the files. But it's done now. See, the menu just disappeared then. I don't really understand why, but it's lit up like it should be on. The menu's disappeared. So I've already done the fueling. Could we request boarding? Is that what you would do now? Let's do catering. Let's see what catering does.
Are on their way.
Catering's on the way. Nice. Let's. Where do they spawn from? Do they spawn far enough away that it's not? Oh, here comes a truck. No idea what they're doing. Look at this one whizzing towards us. That could maybe use some work on that animation, couldn't it? You flew to Edinburgh today, but ATC was off when you landed. Okay, RIP that lamppost. Okay, so what happens now? Presumably they go up. Yes, they do. It disappears all of the time. Okay, so it's not just me then. Yeah, I did wonder why it did that. And of course, once it's disappeared, you would expect it to be in its kind of off state. But obviously... Oh, waiting for you to open the service door. No. What have I done? What have I done? Catering vehicles are in position. Thank you. Services. Catering truck? Oh no. Have I just spawned the A330's catering truck? That back door is still very much closed, isn't it? It's pretty neat, look at that. Something's wandering in and out. Not sure what's going on at the back there, but that's fine. Oh, am I Felix? I didn't know that. So how do I open that door? Catering vehicles are in position. Literally have no idea what's going on here. How do I get rid of the catering things now then? So what if I do request boarding?
Boarding requested.
I actually told it how many people I want yet. Oh yeah, they're in now, look. Even though the door looks like it's shut still. But GSX doesn't know my payload, does it? So I guess GSX will... Okay. Waiting for you to action. Close the service door. service door would appear to be closed anyway. That looks like that's bugged to me because it's got the hood over like it's connected to the plane, but of course it isn't. I think the main thing I bought this for really was the nice pushback system. Passengers boarded. Baggage load in progress, okay. Here they come. So when are catering going to disappear? Okay, so where are the... Where's catering? Where's the baggage gone? Baggage loading in progress. Aha, here they come. Look, here they come. Well, we're getting some proper cargo on today. Waiting for your action. Open the cargo door. But you're all saying I don't need to do anything, even though it's saying waiting for my action, it will do it anyway. Waiting for your action. Open the cargo door. Open the cargo door AFT. Okay, you going to open the doors or do I have to do it? Looks like I have to do this bit. Yep, alright, I'm doing it. Cargo door. This is pretty cool though. Look at all these guys. It's like proper little cargo things going on there. Nice. Would you look at that? Right, while that's doing that, let's make some progress in here. Otherwise it'll be sunset before we even take off. AOC, init pres, init data request. Very nice. Init request for in here. -50. So I guess despite GSX doing that kind of loading or boarding sequence, the plane still thinks it's empty, so I have to board it anyway. No worries, Felix. Sorry I missed the last few messages there. I was keeping an eye on things. Hopefully catch you in a little bit. Very good. Okay, that's done. Excuse me. That is done. 0 fuel weight. Is that block fuel done? Into performance. Do flaps 1/UP 0.1. Flex temp, what was that? Was that -50? Yeah, it was.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly.
There we go,
with a very
145.
important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business.
Okay, so this looks good. So we're going direct to Boca.
Don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Although, have we selected our runway? No, we haven't. Going to use 2.5 right. I've also signed up to Navigraph, so we'll have a look at that in a moment, see if that makes any sense for us. Clear that discontinuity there. Nice. Alright, into Heathrow, what are we doing? Runway 27 left. Loga 2H. There it is. I guess we go via big. Be cool. Ah, it wants me to sign in. Damn it. Okay, next time. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Looks like we've got a flight plan. Trying to work out how I get my iPad to hook up with Navigraph. Import flight, import from SimBrief. That one. Yes, here we go. Having a think. Yeah, Malcolm, so after a couple of weeks of panicking due to fly-by-wire, I think I've gotten the basics now, thanks to your help. Oh, you're welcome. A few flight plan issues. Yeah. Yeah, there's always that, isn't there? There is always that. Okay, let's just select that again. ILS 27 left. Loga 2H. Very nice. So, that is fantastic. You can see that I've just got myself on the iPad, so I can kind of have my iPad propped up here. Seeing real time where I am on the airfield, that's nice. Okay, let's go by big. Right, that's looking good. Happy with that. Let's just step through the route a minute to make sure it all makes sense. There's Logan, Sabre, Brasso. Oh, it wants to go in via Lamb. My bad. 27 left. Logan 2H. Via Lamb. Logan. Sabre. Grasso. Vessel. Lamb. Here we go. Nice. That looks spot on. Goody, goody, goody. Shut that door. Oh, everything's gone away out here, so that's good news, I take it. Good news, I take it. Okay, let's get ourselves ready for a pushback. Let's get our beacon light on.
Flight attendants, armed doors, and cross-check.
And we should be in a good position. Seatbelts on. What's our 110? Got a limit there. It's fine. 290. 340. Just put 340 in here. And we'll see if we can make use of the Airbus's managed climb, or VNAV, because this of course is probably should have mentioned this is actually the alpha build. So we do have VNAV in here. Right, GSX, let's see if we can sort out pushback, shall we? Alrighty, I think I found us a nice little route to 25 right. Boarding completed. Prepare for pushback. Nothing happening so far. So there's 25 right, that's where we're going to be heading out. The idea is...
Hello Captain, we are ready for pushback.
Oh, sweet. Okay, now what do I do? Ah, here we go. Interrupt pushback, stop here and complete pushback.
Departure check completed, light has been inserted.
Oh, the accents, yeah, that's cool. What is that? Oh, that's a bar, isn't it? Why is there no tug attached to it? I think I'm kind of learning quite quickly. You need to have a little bit of faith in GSX. It's very easy to be like, nothing's happening, what's going on? So they're going to ask me to nose left, tail right, I guess. That's right, isn't it?
Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear, start at will.
Thank you very much. Hey, we're moving, we're moving, we're moving. Sweet. Oh no, I've told it to go the wrong way. What did I say? no. It's weird that there's no tug. But okay, I guess. Right, let's get some engine start, shall we? Okay, that pushback's pretty good, huh? That is right on the money. Look at that. The sounds. Love the sounds. Got engine spin. That's always good.
Set parking brakes.
Set.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
So I guess in a few seconds they will say that about the engine start. Okie dokie. How are we looking? Do auto brakes to max. Waiting your confirmation on... Oh, okay, I need to do it through the menu.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay, let's do flaps 1. Wing seems to be moving quite a lot.
Unlocking gear.
Thanks. Okay. Strobes auto. Taxi lights on.
Tow truck disconnected. Pipe has been removed.
Excellent.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Let's turn off the APU. Some lights on in here, because it's going to be getting dark shortly, isn't it? Oh, there's the tug. I don't know why the tug didn't render initially, but I guess that's okay. Let's get the engine out of ignition into normal. We'll arm speed brakes. APU is available, but we don't actually want it at this time. Pick up config normal. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm impressed with that. I really am. Having spent a long old time with the various other options. That's pretty good. Okay, cam is on. So you can see here I've got my iPad now that I've got connected to Navigraph, which is really nice because I can see exactly where I should be going on the airport. I really like that a lot. Alright, parking brake. Off. Yeah, I would say that pushback system alone makes it worth the money, to be quite honest with you. Only thing I'm finding now, actually, is because I've got this iPad here. It's right in the way of me seeing. I can't see the displays quite as well. I may need to get like one of those wall-mounted stands for the TV and just sort of get it up just a little bit. It's possible that I may be changing things in here anyway, in the shed, in the near future. It's tricky because I've only got 2x2 meters to work with, so there's only so much you can really do. Oh, this is so cool, I can see exactly where I'm going. Just see those charts. Although, interestingly, according to the chart, it wants me to go straight on here. Cut this corner. We're not going to do that. Oh no. Ignore me. And this thing feels like a land yacht. It really does. So we're going to make a right here. On to November. Then onto November 11, then into Papa, should take us exactly where we're needed. Hey Jamie, how's it going? You counting it down to the end of the week? Yeah, that's it. That is exactly it. It's one of those where the more space you have, the more space you want. I think in the coming week or so I may order a new case for the PC. You can almost see, I don't know if you can see it actually, it's over here. The old NZXT H510. Is this where I want to be going? N11, yeah it is. If we cut up here, looks like we're going to have a bit of a night flight on our hands. Should be quite nice. Don't know if we'll get to do those. So yeah, I am constantly at odds with the heat in here. So like I say, it's basically a 2x2 meter cube, I guess. And the PC, if you've been simming for like an hour or more and it's been constantly kicking out all that wattage, it gets really hot. So the plan is to move the PC from over here, sort of back behind where I'm sitting. And then I can bore some holes through the wall, buy some sort of like ducting, like 90mm kind of tube ducting. Oh no, the old FPS is at it again. Get some ducting and literally blow the hot air from the PC straight out of the room. That's the plan. not liking the feel of this FPS at the moment. Hopefully once we get up in the air at Frankfurt it begins to behave itself. So here's our runway 25 right. We're just going to bear off round to the right here. Oh, don't like this, don't like this, don't like this. I did start speccing up a PC today on PC Part Picker, just saying. So maybe this is my PC getting its own back on me. How dare you consider cheating on me with another PC? I will ruin your flight tonight. Alright. Sorry chat, I can see the chat is moving. I'm just concentrating here just for a moment. Here we go then. Right, let's get some lights on, shall we? Ah! Let's just hold short here. What is going on in my frames? Oh no. Okay. Takeoff config remains normal. Let's get out there. Let's get lined up. I'm going to have to ditch the iPad for this bit because it's right in the way where I need to see. Let's get that into arc. Thank you, Harry. Always appreciate the ATC. Alrighty. Arm the auto throttle. Actually, let's not. Good. Let's get ourselves back to Heathrow. 40% and 1, holding it on the brakes. No warning so far, just my FPS literally in the floor. There he goes. Oh my goodness. Right, let's just get out of here quickly before we crash. Hopefully it will behave itself once we get up in the sky. Positive rate, gear up. Let's quickly get autopilot on, shall we? Flipping heck. That was not good. Oh, this is the worst. Oh, this is bad, isn't it? Hey Colby, welcome on in. Nice to have you here with us. What on earth is going on with my frames per second? Hopefully once we clear Frankfurt it might clear up. What's it doing? Seems like it's happier now. It's at 30 frames a second. But then it gets those dips. Look at that dip. Why is it dipping like that? Do I want a game of blackjack? I don't even know how to play it. Oh, right. Leave a climb. Oh, this is really bad. Okay, standard pressure for that one. I feel like I'm getting to that point where I'm just going to end up resetting my PC at some point in the near future, and I know that's going to be such a pain, because I'm going to have to reset up everything. I can't keep going on like this. This is really, really poor. Let's see if we can get these lights off. Can't wait to land in Frankfurt. I mean, it might be my computer. It may well be that. Let's hope so for your sake. Let's keep an eye on that frames per second again. Oh, you're going to the Houses of Parliament, Jamie. Sorry, I missed you there, and I think you got lost in the scroll. Yeah, that's a good trip, that. Never been myself, but others that I know have been on like school trips with it. They say it's fantastic. Guess you'll probably get to meet some fairly big names. I guess if they know a school's coming, it's pretty good optics to have a photo of everyone looking happy. I tell you what, as each day passes, we're getting nearer and nearer to me building a whole new system. 7800X3D. 4080, maybe? Don't know. 4080 feels a bit like a bit of a joke card, really, but. It's that main thread again, isn't it? Look at that. And of course the autopilot doesn't have a clue what to do. Look at this! I'm suspecting that something's up with my system in quite a fundamental way. You may or may not remember, but I bought a 4070 a little while back, and I ended up getting rid of it because of all the issues I had with the sim and the whole driver thing. But more often than not, I was CPU limited when using it in a massive way, to the point where it didn't improve the performance over my 3070. Just wondering if there's something else going on. Just look at those frames out all over the place. That is messy. Messy, messy. To the point where I don't think we're really... unless this resolves, I don't think we're going to have a good landing into London. I'll probably have to let approach mode do it, and it'll make a mess of it. JD, what specs do you have again? Could be one of those where maybe just the way to do it is just a fresh Windows install and see if that helps. I definitely feel like something's not right. Yeah, they are, Jamie. They're all good. In fact, I know they're good because I made a video on my other channel about RAM speeds the other day and sort of asking the question, do they help or do they not help when it comes to gaming performance? So I was in the BIOS, turning XMP on and off and put it back on again when I was done. It's definitely the CPU, isn't it? Oh, that's terrible. I mean, it's possible, I suppose, that it's the plane. I'm in an alpha build of this plane just so I could get the managed like VNAV, essentially. Managed climb. Yeah. I mean, step one has to be a reinstall, doesn't it, really? Reinstall of Windows. Yeah, I mean, my brief time with the 4070, it was good. There's no getting away from that, it was good. Oh man, look at this. then even last night, I hopped on just to do a... I just wanted to do a landing. Basically, I'd had a bit of a crap day yesterday, and it got to like 9 o'clock, and I was like, I just want to fly the plane for a bit. And I just did that thing where you use like the world map, set an airport, do a landing in the 737, which was today's YouTube short, in fact. And it did it then. Exactly what we're seeing now, it did the same thing. So it makes me think maybe it's not this plane.
Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. What is going on? Of course, now autopilot is freaking out because it hasn't got the data it needs. 8 frames per second right there. Unless it's something in my community folder that it's not liking. Guess that's always possible. Maybe if I emptied my community folder and added things back in one by one. Could be it. So I was literally just about to say, oh, it's looking okay there, 30 FPS, and then, no. Yeah, it's 100% the CPU. Why? Why is it? Just gotta check my OBS and make sure like I'm not telling it to encode on the CPU. Yeah, it's encoding through NBank. Just going to load up Ryzen Master. Yeah, whatever, I'll overclock my system, I don't care. Let's get that out of the way. Alright, I've entered my CPU into game mode through Ryzen Master, which doesn't appear to have helped. If anything, it's worse. Oh no. No, yeah, no. Oh. No. Oh, damn it. Yeah, let's turn PBO on, Precision Boost Overdrive. Yeah, that hasn't helped either. Ooh, saying that. Ah, damn it, no it hasn't. Just dipped again. Oh, what is it? The plane can't even keep level. It's getting that few frames. I'm just going to remove the display capture just a moment. Just see if that helps. Yeah, that really didn't help. Yeah. Do you ever get the feeling like you're wasting your time? Yeah, there it goes again, look. Rocking up and down. Obviously when the frames go low enough, the autopilot just has fewer and fewer data points to work with. A massive hammer may well be on the cards. It may well be. I gotta be honest, I'm sat here contemplating kind of ending this and just trying to properly troubleshoot this. Spend an hour or so on it, because I can't keep going like this, stream after stream. What temps am I getting on my CPU? Pretty good temps usually. Let me see if I can find it here a second. Right, the picture's just going to disappear for a minute, okay? So, temperatures. $53 degrees. Which is well within spec. I've got one of those big chunky tower coolers. Only thing I'm wondering, when I had the 4070, I turned on, what's it called? Resizable bar. And I'm wondering if I turned it back off when I put 3070 back in, because my 3070 doesn't support it unless I flash the V BIOS on it, which I haven't gotten around to doing. Yeah, so it's funny you say that, Jamie. With the 5600X, initially when I was first building the PC, I listened to all the reviewers and they were like, actually, the stock cooler kind of works. It's okay. So I was like, sweet, I'll just stick with the stock cooler, the one that comes with, you know, in the box. And while they were right in that it does work, if the CPU is under maximum load, like in a CPU benchmark, it will keep it, you know, at a decent temperature. What it didn't account for was the graphics card dumping all of its heat into the case and having that kind of soak into the CPU cooler. At which point, like if you start playing Warzone or whatever, all of a sudden you're at like 95 degrees or something, which isn't where you want to be. I mean, of course, it could just be that I'm on an alpha build of a plane. Like, I've taken a risk, really, flying an alpha build. Like, I'm opening myself up to issues which you could argue we are experiencing, so it could just be that. Stabilizing a bit now. Oh no, it's not, isn't it? Definitely seems better than. Oh, literally, I say that and it goes to 8 FPS. Oh man, I'm gonna need a drink after this. I bet if I change view, that really freaks that out. Let's try changing the view. That's not so bad. Significant improvement over earlier. Welcome back, Felix. We are in the middle of troubleshooting my stupid PC. Yeah, it seems that view change was the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, I'll leave it up to you, really. I'm happy to continue the flight and see if the plane can auto-land itself, because there's no way I'm going to be able to fly it with this FPS. I'm more than happy to stick around and have a chat to you. I guess we just sort of have to push the quality of the flight to one side. Hey Kibris, good evening. Nice to see you again. We're having a bit of a nightmare with performance, so I should warn you. I think any attempt to actually fly the plane properly has gone out the window. This is really more of an experiment now to see if the plane can maybe do an auto land with its very, very low FPS. What res am I on? I'm on, contrary to my graphics settings video, I've actually lowered it to 1080p rather than 4K with DLSS. It doesn't look greatest, to be honest, because obviously you're not running at your panel's native res, so... But that was more of a reaction to the low performance we've been experiencing over the last few streams. I thought maybe going to 1080 would help, but it would seem it has not. But at least we know the GPU's okay. I mean, look at it there. It's you can kind of see it over here. That there's the GPU, that graph there, all green, nice and low milliseconds. Like the GPU is totally fine. It's just chilling, basically. It's this one up here, the CPU, the main thread on the CPU. It's really giving us a hard time. HDR is off, I believe. I deleted the cache. No, I have not. I did think of that actually this evening. I thought maybe I should consider doing that. That's a good point, well made. Hey Sonny, how you doing? CPU temps are okay, Sonny. Yeah, we were just talking about that. They are currently at 53 point something, more or less holding steady at 53, which for a 5600X is pretty good. It's got a big old tower cooler on it. Game is supposed to be limited by the main thread. Yeah, it is. It is. And that would be fine if we were limited at, say, 40 FPS rather than constantly dipping down now to where you can see like 11s and 9s and 10s. So at that point, I think maybe we've got a problem. We are on the alpha build of the A330-900 by Headwind. So it's possible it's just that. But having said that, last night I was flying into Belfast in the 737 PMDG, and the same thing happened then, just ridiculously low FPS. Massive, massive dips. No, Ekibris, I haven't downloaded the latest one yet. I'm on a fairly modern driver, I think latest -1, I believe. Your CPU bottlenecks you hard. Yeah, same, Felix. Intel's 14th gen will be out hopefully October time, maybe November time. So, I mean, that is more of a refresh, of course. Much more of a refresh than a whole new chip. So it's more of like a refresh of 13th gen. However, maybe 13th gen will also get cheaper. Nothing wrong with 12th gen either. And if that gets cheaper again, then happy days. Will the 14th gen have a new socket? I wasn't sure on that. I haven't actually seen either way. Right, when's top of descent? Not far. Too far. So I've just joined what's the CPU, GPU and RAM. So CPU, we're running a Ryzen 5 5600X with a 3070, and we have 32 gig of 3600 CL16 memory. Yeah, you're right, Felix. It's usually the case, isn't it? Sort of like you get 2 gens and then a socket for 2 gens. Is it LGA 2551? Is that the new one that's been rumoured? You feel my pain. So it's not going terribly at the moment. We are maintaining 30 at least. It seems at the moment it's been the best it's been for like the whole flight. If I start moving around, hey, that's pretty good. That is the... Just trying to see if I can make it freak out. I think that's probably the best we've had it, isn't it, the entire time. So what upset it for that long, I wonder? What could it have been? Yeah, I think really, Felix, whatever CPU you've got, you're going to hit that button. I mean, even if you had an i9, you would think i9 must be way better than an i5, or not necessarily. The clock speeds might be slightly better. Maybe you've got a bit more cache somewhere, but the extra cores in the context of flight sim are going to do nothing for you at this point in time. Could it be Tinterweb? Tinterweb. What, as in failing to load in the scenery? I guess that's possible. Alright, so we're just over the sea now. Heading back to good old Blighty. Well, we might be able to get an actual landing in if we, if it keeps like this. I'm kind of glad I didn't bail on the stream now. No, it's also not worth the price tag, you're quite right. Well, I don't know, maybe that's not fair. In the right use case, it is absolutely worth the price tag. Sim would be great because it will use multiple threads. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how much they can actually help with that. Let's get rid of the frames for a minute. We'll get rid of it until we can feel a problem again. Like, gaming in general is still very, very single thread heavy. Because if you imagine all of these worlds that game developers are making, everything that happens relies on something else happening before it. So it all happens sequentially. Which is why it all lives on the main thread, because on the main thread one thing happens and another thing happens and another thing happens. If you start handing stuff off to other threads, or other cores, it could be that the main thread is waiting for the result of some work that has been handed off to another core, but the other core hasn't done it in time. Then the main thread hangs. Then you're in even more of a bigger problem. remember back when I was doing some software development work, I was working on a network-based application, and if you made a network call on the main thread, the entire app would freeze until that network call had been completed. So it had obviously gone off to the internet, got the data it wanted, and then came back. And that might take like 2 seconds. So the whole app would freeze for 2 seconds. So what I was challenged with was coming up with a fix for that. So I would hand off that network call to another thread on the CPU, or another core if you want. That core would go off independently to the main thread, allowing the main thread to operate the user interface of the app, so the app still felt responsive. You could still use it, click into different screens, scroll, tap buttons, that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, on another core, that network call was taking place. Then when it would be finished, it would send an interrupt message back to the main thread being like, hey, I'm done. Then the main thread would take the data and update the user interface. But obviously in the context of a flight sim, everything is so sequential. In terms of like the physics and the air and the weather and the way the plane reacts to it, everything needs to happen in order. So I do wonder how much they can really do with multi-threading. Stutters I'm getting are crazy, but the 30 FPS performance is about right, yeah. Process lasso might help. Am I on 4K? I used to be with DLSS, but as part of the troubleshooting for all of this, I'm now running 1080p native. Which in fairness, 4K DLSS actually renders at 1080p and just upscales it to 4K, so probably not massively different. I still don't think a thread ripper will help you, to be honest. Like I say, those threads aren't going to do anything for you. It's all about the speed of your main thread. Yeah, that is one problem with DLSS. Those cockpit screens do suffer for it, and also the clouds. Someone commented actually on my video about graphics settings recently, saying they've noticed the clouds look a bit fuzzy around the edge, and they do. Oh, whoops! I've overshot. Ha 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 ha. Go for 3,300. Too busy talking about my performance, I've forgotten to fly the actual plane. Let's go for 3,000 feet. Let's get us down. We may need some drag. Give it some speed brakes. Still, it's feeling not bad at the moment.
Welcome to flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. As you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up.
Okay, so it wants destination data. See, it seems really good now. What was it that was upsetting it? 1015, 220 and 1121. Remember that. 1015. 1015. 220 and 11. Surely it's not 21 degrees. It says it is. Okay. Doesn't feel like 21 degrees. But then I am not at Heathrow, so who knows? So we need to be at 16,000 feet at Sabre. Felix says, apart from graphics, what are your thoughts on the Headwind A330? I installed it but I haven't flown yet, since you've forgotten all about the Airbus controls. I mean, if you can fly the A320, you can fly this. Is basically it. It is very much an A320neo, but bigger. On the ground, it feels like a cargo ship. It really does. You really feel it on the ground. Just the weight, the inertia. But I love it. I've always had a soft spot for the A330. It was the aircraft that I first went across the pond on, so I'll always have a soft spot for the A330. I'm not sure what's happening with the Aerosoft A330 now, because wasn't there some stuff going on with like one of the devs leaving or something? SFC scan, yeah, might not be a bad idea that. Cheers, Jamie. At least I've got all my excuses ready if it's a bad landing. Like, oh, well, there's FPS issues on final. That's why I landed at 600 feet per minute. My at-home cockpit is 5K. Damn. I often get tempted into looking at home cockpits. Like, I started looking at Moby Flight, and then you kind of fall down that rabbit hole of like all the different things it can do. But I just know in the back of my mind that I would build like a 737 cockpit, and once I'd kind of tightened the last screw on it, I'd be like, oh yeah, but what about Airbus? And then you got to start all over again. It's like, yeah, I need to just not, I just need to avoid that, because I know exactly what I'm like. I'll definitely fall down that rabbit hole for sure. You're in debt now. Yeah, that's not surprised. There it is. So far, so good. Yeah, Felix, it's a good time to be a simmer, isn't it? A big fan of Aerosoft and not disappointed. Whatever it's called is off. Probably by the A330 as my setup is geared towards the bus. Yeah. What's the deal with the A350? Who's making that? I think for me, we've got, on the Airbus side, we've got Phoenix, we've got fly-by-wire, we're going to get the A380, we've got PMDG doing the Boeings. For me, I think that's like 99% of what I would want from the sim. I kind of like the airliners that, if you were to go to Heathrow Airport tomorrow, and you get to the gate and you look out the window. That's the kind of stuff I'm into. Like, I've noticed that regional jet, is it the Fokker? That's been doing the rounds on YouTube, and it's nice to see it. But I know if I was to buy it, I'd never fly it. I've got no interest in the jet, really. Kind of into the big Boeings, the big Airbuses. I did get the ATR. I kind of bought into the hype for all of that. And yeah, I haven't really flown it that much, to be honest with you. Probably not a bad idea to set myself some limits, really. Just get the core Airbus, the core Boeings, because otherwise the money can run away with itself, can't it? It'd be cool if maybe PMDG did a 767, 757. Because then really they've got the lot, haven't they? They've got the 777, they've got the 747, the 737. I guess you could say, what about the Dreamliner, but you could argue that's taken care of to some extent. It was interesting. I listened to a podcast with the chief executive of PMDG, and he was saying basically the market wants to fly what the market sees when they go to the airport, and that is so true. Like, I can relate to that so much. You know, the planes that you get on to go on holiday, of course you're going to want to fly those when you get home to your simulator. Study level 767 is coming. Who's building that one? Isn't Bluebird doing the 757? Is that right? It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one with that word study level. I always feel a little bit... like, what does that word actually mean? Like, where does study level end and where does study level begin? I guess is kind of... where's the line? Yeah, let's give it a little bit more drag here. Never flown on a 757 in real life though. I'd like to, because it's still a single aisle jet, isn't it? Flown on a 767. In fact, that was my first flight on a 767. We're going down to Alicante from Stansted, and we were due to go on like I don't know, an A320 or a 737. I forget. But we get to the airport, and this was years and years ago. And the first thing they say is, "Oh, there's a 10-hour delay." And of course, everyone's like, "Oh no!" And like, you know, you get the obligatory passenger that like has a massive go at the poor staff on the desk. And in the end, it got so bad that they thought they were going to be able to get the plane fixed, and it just didn't come out of maintenance. In the end, they flew down an empty 767 from Manchester to Stansted to pick us up to take us to Alicante. Apparently that was their best route out of it. So it must have been pretty bad. So they were having a bad day, for sure. But it's great, because, like, you know, you imagine you've got a flight full for an A320 to go to Alicante. All of a sudden, they can spread out on a 767. how are we looking on this flight plan then? So we got about 15 miles to get down to 7,000 feet. Do have a speed limit coming up, of course, 250 knots, which should be fine. In fact, think about it, the only other time I've been on a 767 was due to a breakdown. I've been on a 767 twice. I was never scheduled to, but both times it's because the plane I was supposed to go on broke down. Because we landed in Detroit from Vegas on a 737, I forget which one, but it was an extended range variant. Possibly a 900? And we get to Detroit and we park up next to this Airbus A330, which turned out to be the one we were going on, so we literally got off and we're about to walk back on for this bigger plane to go across the pond. And there was this stench of like solvent, and it was from the air conditioning system. Apparently something had burst. So we got chucked into a hotel. Ooh, lights. And that we were told to come back the next day. And lo and behold, a 767 was waiting for us. Here's our route into Heathrow, by the way. So we're going to do a little bit of an S shape. Years ago, flew 757 EGCC to EGLL. BA shuttle. The locker can open during turbulence. Whoa, knocked out the bloke 2 rows down, semi-unconscious. Yikes, that's not good. I may fly to Norway for a day in like a week or two just because I'm bored. You mean in real life or in the sim, Felix? Oh, we also need to be at 220 for Lamborn, don't we? Okay, let's get those speed brakes out again. IRL, nice! That's the way to do it. Flight departing at 5:30 to Phoenix. Again, is that IRL or sim? Well, this is all going very well. So, Lamb 11. And we're going to need to be at 196 by then as well. Still 1015, I assume we are. Yes, we are. Oh, still got the speed brake out, my bad. KW, good evening. It's been a bit of an evening so far, I won't lie to you. We've had massive performance issues all the way out of Frankfurt. However, things are behaving themselves now, look at that. more or less a stable 30. So we'll live in hope that it remains that way. You're right, Rob. Better now. Much better now. We're just coming into land. So, yeah, let's put this up. Staying at 30. And to be clear, I've capped it at 30, so I wouldn't expect it to be any more than that anyway, but it's when it goes less that I start to get the heebie-jeebies. Everything's going well, so we're just coming over London. There's London City, got the Millennium Shed down there. What's that? Is that Canary Wharf? The Financial District, whatever it's called. Yeah, Bergen's a cool approach. I flew that quite recently on here, actually. I think I forget whose recommendation, but it was definitely a recommendation. Very glad I did it. It does make me wonder though, Rob, if something is just like massively screwed up on my side of my system. Which runway? For Bergen, I can't remember. I want to say 3.5. I want to say 3.5, but I can't be 100%. Okay, let's start thinking about where we need to be. Oh, it's you, Jamie. Of course it was. My apologies. Yeah, nice little flight that. Where was it? Stockholm to Bergen, I think it was, wasn't it? You sort of go like right across the two countries. So given that we're over London and performance is fine, I'm now even more confused because of course you would expect it to, that not be the case. London's kind of widely considered to be pretty tough to run, isn't it? Right, where's decel? Guessing we've already gone into approach mode. Yes, we have. Alright, let's get the landing system on at least. There we go, London straight ahead. Is that St Paul's, the Shard? This is a cool time to arrive at London. Got down the London Eye. Houses of Parliament would be on the other side of the river? Yeah, that would be that there, right? Big Ben and all of that. Oh, I like London. I want to go back to London. I could never live in London. I wouldn't last 5 minutes. But I do like a trip. Yeah, I definitely get to a point in London where it's like too many people, too much noise. Get me out of here. Bad enough. St Paul's, yeah. I don't know if we can see it now. Where is it? Just out of view. Unless... There it is. That's a better view. Look at that. Is that the walkie-talkie? Isn't that the one that was like melting people's stuff? Because of its shape of its glass, it was like focusing its light on, like, I don't know, melting people's cars or something. Something like that, like damaging paintwork. That's a pretty neat view, isn't it? Houses of Parliament. Where's Buckingham Palace from there then? This is where my knowledge of London starts to fall apart. Alright, let's intercept that glide slope then, shall we? We're landing on 27 left, so it'll be the leftmost runway. We'll do auto brake medium. Arm the speed brakes, flaps are full. Lights are configured. Let's do runway turn off so we can see where we're going. Oh, perfect timing. Right, let's go. Let's get the cam on. And at least if it's a semi-decent landing. Why has it not picked up that glide slope? Really hasn't done that, has it? That's unusual. I'll have to do it then. God, I have to do everything on this channel. So we'll just kind of keep our descent rate at just over 1,000 feet per minute. And that diamond to the right of the main display there, the PFD, one with the purple and the brown and the blue.
2,500.
Gear down. Diamond should hopefully start coming up to meet us.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
And we can adjust our rate of descent once it's on that yellow bar. See, it's just coming up now. Feel like we need to be over to the left just a tiny bit. Pretty good there. Alright, that is feeling pretty good. We've got gear down, auto brake medium. So far so good, holding it steady. Apologies if I go quiet, I do tend to concentrate quite a bit at this point. And I do struggle to multitask. I play the guitar and I can't even talk and play at the same time, so it kind of shows you where I'm at, really. Nice and easy. Come on, let's have a nice end to the stream. Maybe do a bin over a little bit more to the left. Not by much.
500.
2 reds, 2 whites. Ooh, it's going to go to 3 reds, isn't it? I can feel that's going to go to 3 reds any second. Yeah, there it goes.
300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And you go.
5.
There it is. A little bit of rudder required. Reverse thrust. Probably just do reverse idle, to be fair, couldn't we? Plenty of time to slow down. 200 feet per minute, or 220. I will take that all day long. Well, I'm glad I definitely didn't shut the stream off over Germany, because it came close. Definitely came close. Those frames per second were not looking good. And here we are, welcome to Heathrow. Maybe could have held the flare just a little bit. Let's get, oh, whoops. Let's get the APU on. 1, 2, 3. That one on. And let's go find somewhere to park, shall we? Yeah, the FPS held it together there, Felix, didn't it? It really did. Good result there for sure. Right, let's head on down to Terminal 5. It's a good point with the Pappies as well. Yeah, Felix, it was you that mentioned that, wasn't it? Yeah. I used to obsess over the Pappies quite a lot. And a lot of my landings were not as good as they could have been as a result. And it wasn't until I saw, was it 737NG driver? Posted a video basically being like, look, they're bugged. And I can prove it, and here's how. And I was like, oh yeah. So kind of what I look for now is the call-outs. More important to me is getting a 50 over the threshold of the runway than it is to see whatever the Pappies are doing or whatever the ILS markers are doing. It's like 50 at the threshold is kind of what I aim for, and you can kind of sense if you're going to get that from about 200 or 300 feet just from the picture and kind of the speed at which the call-outs progress, like 200, 100, you sort of know. Well, we made it. I honestly didn't think we would. Very much enjoying having Navigraph on the charts, showing us where to go as well on the iPad. But yeah, 228 feet per minute. I can live with that. What is it they say? Anything under 6 is okay, because nothing gets broken under 600 feet per minute. Obviously the passengers would feel it. Alright, let's jump up here. We'll try and see if we can find a place in Terminal 5B. And we'll see if GSX will play nicely once we get to the gate. We go for stand 543. I'll see if I can find us that one. Purely based on watching us on the Navigraph map on the iPad that I've got here in front of me. Thank you all for sticking with me tonight, though I know the technical issues were less than ideal. I think I've overshot. Have I? Yeah. Did not want the dash line, did I? We want this line. Probably should have told GSX where we were going to land, actually.
You need to stop the engines to request ground services.
Need to stop the engines.
You need to stop the engines to request ground services.
Okay. Well, then we will stop the engines in just a moment. Alright, so that is parking brake on, taxi lights off, runway turn-offs off, get those on, so we should be able to now turn off our engines.
This parking is too small for your aircraft.
Oh, damn it.
The boarding requested.
Okay. Let's see what happens then, shall we? Is this going to bug again? I think it might. Oh no, it's going all the way in this time, I think. Oh, we're going to get to see some passengers. Come on, passengers, where are you? Do I get to see them walk across the little bridge? Kind of feel like I should be able to get to see that.
Passengers, the boarding starting.
Aha. Sweet. on, where are you? There they go. Wait, is there only one passenger? Oh no, there's another one. And there's got to be more than that. What's going on around the other side? Oh wow, look at that. This is a cool add-on. Not entirely sure what's going on there, mind. We've got passengers walking in the sky. Okay, so they're going into there. And then they appear in the sky. Kind of feel like maybe that's not what should be happening. What's going on down here? Is this more cargo? Very nice indeed. Too bad about the passengers walking in the air, but we'll have to let them off. Stairway to heaven, yeah. Oh, well folks, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all very much indeed. Thank you for your patience, especially coming out of Frankfurt. Thank you for all the suggestions. Trying to sort out my PC's performance. I've got a funny feeling it won't be the last we see of that. But there we go. Yeah, you're right, Jamie. You're absolutely right. Even with the problems, I think testament to the community we got here. Really, everyone's just up for a nice chilled evening. And yeah, I can't thank you all enough for that. Thank you all so much. I'm not entirely sure when I'll be back. I say it's a funny week this week. I'm on dad duty a lot of this week due to reasons. So I haven't really got the usual morning slots to stream, and the evenings are a bit weird too. I might be able to get live tomorrow, but I can't promise it. It's probably less likely than more likely. Thursday though, I'm hoping we can do a same again, same time. Yeah, same bad time, same bad channel. And hopefully we'll go somewhere nice. There we go. Ah! Mackham, you're going live. Very good, in which case, head on over there would be my advice. Have a good flight, my friend. I'll see if I can check in myself. And I will leave you all to have a nice evening. Thank you all very much indeed. Good night.